Good evening and welcome to the 5 o'clock show. Look at this thing. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest leaf I have ever seen. It is an elephant ear. We'll hear more about that later. We're here in Lakefield today, and tomorrow is the antique and flower show here in Lakefield. So the Horticultural Society is here preparing everything from flower pots, getting all the antique tools ready. There's some nice antique pots there that they're preparing. We're going to talk to them today about what is in store for this year. And Brenda Ivey, she's going to be preparing. She's the president of the club, and we'll have some more from her there. Welcome back to the 5 o'clock show. I'm Michelle Nelson. We're here in Lakefield, and right now I'm with Brenda Ivey. She's the president of the Horticultural Society here in Lakefield, actually. And you're teeing up a very special event that you have tomorrow.
Yes, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we have the Lakefield Antique and Flower Show, where we have lots of different vendors with a whole variety of antiques for sale. And we have a flower show as well, where our members show all of their beautiful flowers and arrangements. And yeah, it's a really fun event.
And how many vendors do you have this year?
Probably between 35 and 40. This is our major fundraiser for the Horticulture Society, and we have a lot of gardens that we plant and maintain and some beautiful hanging baskets in the village. So this is a great event for us, and we're able to do a lot of beautification and education in Lakefield.
And how many years has it been running?
I think this is our 34th year.
Wow, yeah. 34th year.
Yeah. Now our society has existed for 50 years. So
for 50 years?
Yeah, so in November we're celebrating our 50th anniversary.
Oh, that's exciting.
Really exciting.
So
yeah.
it's a special year.
Exactly.
Excellent. So right now you're going to teach me a little bit about how to properly cut flowers in order to condition them overnight. And what exactly does conditioning mean?
Conditioning means, well, if you cut a flower now and put it in an exhibit, it's going to droop. It just doesn't absorb enough water just sitting in there in a tiny little vase. So when you condition, you take a flower, you put it in some warm water, not too hot, not too cold, and then even keep it in a cool, dark place overnight. And that just helps them to absorb lots of water and be really strong, and so they really perk up when you're showing them because the flowers are being judged for a competition. These are Rudbeckia, or Black-Eyed Susan is kind of a common name.
Oh, okay, that sounds familiar. I have these at home.
Yeah.
So we're going to just chop them?
Well, we want to think about what we're going to put them in. So if it's going to be a long vase or a short vase, we also have to think if it's going to be just one flower or a branch of flowers. So there's a lot of different things.
So what are you thinking? Because later on in the show, we're actually going to put these in a vase and kind of do in a nice arrangement, right?
Yeah,
so what are you thinking? Because you're probably picturing in your head right now a certain color scheme.
Yeah, well, at this point, this is going to be more for an actual competition where you just have some specific flowers. So you might have 3 flowers, what the competition says. And we want to look for a really nice flower that has a good shape, that doesn't have any holes or anything in it. And we want to try and get a really long piece of stem. So I'm just going to go way down there, get a really nice piece of stem, and you'll see this one's, it's broken. So we're going to take that off. We'll just
chop that
trim that off. And for the rest, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
This bud is showing a little bit of color, so I think we might have to remove that because otherwise it's going to be considered 2 flowers. And in this case,
Oh, but if the bud was not showing any color, if it was just green still, that would be considered 1 flower.
That's right, yeah. So we have to look at our rules and see exactly what we're allowed to do. So I'll snip off that little piece as well. And then I'm going to put it right away into the water. And if we've got a nice big bucket full of water, that's great. And we'll put that inside and keep it overnight. It's actually the wrong time of day to be cutting them because it's really hot out here right now.
Yeah, it is really hot out here today.
But in the evening would be a good time.
Great.
So,
so when we come back, we're actually going to learn how to make a nice arrangement. So I know Brenda was telling us that you have to have a certain length of flower of the stem. So when we come back, we're actually going to put this in an arrangement with some other flowers. This ahead on the 5 o'clock show.
I'm Janet McLeod, and on today's Flower Sense, we're going to talk about plants of summer, the anthurium and the Gerber daisy.
You're watching Newswatch, the 5 o'clock show.
Welcome back to the 5 o'clock show. We're here in Lakefield, and I'm Michelle Nelson, standing here with Tony Sinclair. She's the chair of the Lakefield Flower Show. And how long have you been the chair for?
Well, I think this is the 3rd time I've done it.
And I've been watching you here a little bit, and you are quite the artist. I'm really impressed with what you can do. And these are the flowers we actually just cut from the garden. So what exactly are you doing right now?
Well, I'm using these Rudbeckia, or Black-Eyed Susans. And I thought because they're kind of country-like flowers, a basket like this, which is an antique trug, is more appropriate than, say, something like a glass container like this. And I would put the larger flowers sort of front and center as the focal, and then the smaller ones I would put out at the side. You don't put the very largest stuff at the side or at the top because it makes it lose its balance. But I could use this little guy up here.
And look how fast you're going. How long does an arrangement take you?
Oh, it depends. I could spend hours on an arrangement, or I can do one in a few minutes, and it's not that difficult once you've learned a few tricks of the trade. Okay, I'm just going to show you. I've got a little block of oasis wedged in there, and I've taken a piece of corkscrew hazel just to add a little bit of interest. Someone brought in this very interesting plant with these leaves, which match the design in this antique vase very nicely. So I'll put a couple of those in for accent. Now they're wilting because I haven't conditioned them properly, just like the rudbeckias are doing a little wilt thing. And green it up a little bit with periwinkle, so you don't see the oasis. And someone else brought in these roses, and they match beautifully. So they will be the focal point, and again, we keep that short.
Since it's on the top, right?
That's right. Or at the front.
Okay. So the balance is okay.
Yes. Yes. And so we'll put a little white rose at the top here. And then we'll finish greening it up with some more periwinkle. And we'd have a design.
Wow.
Very, very quickly done.
Yeah. See, that only took you a couple minutes.
Yeah. Now, it needs more green,
Not
but
even.
that's basically what I would do. And I could also use a little bit of the status. That kind
status. Okay, and that's almost a filler that you would put in?
Yes, you could call it that. Or an intermediate material.
Okay. That's very interesting.
It just kind of lightens it up. Now this no longer is a line design per se because I've gone fluffy.
Yeah.
But
it
I
still
like the
looks
material.
Beautiful though. Wow. This is amazing with the color, the detail that you put into that.
Well, I wish that vase was mine. You don't have to have an antique container to do a floral design. Here I've got a more modern piece of pottery. I've hot glued an old-fashioned pick. They used to use these before they used Oasis.
Oh, really? That's what they used to use?
Yes, because you would impale your plant material on here. And these are some Japanese fern that I just picked in the garden last night.
So what else will you be doing tomorrow then at the show?
Oh, well, people will be bringing their flowers in early, probably starting at about 8 o'clock, and the judging starts at 10.
At 10 o'clock,
yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, people are when the judges finish, people are welcome to come in and enjoy the show. And it's a water viewing design, which is one of our categories. So you really need to see more of the water if I was doing this correctly.
Oh, okay. So you would fill it up just with a little bit more water, maybe?
Yes, I would. I'd bring it almost right up to the top.
Okay. Wow,
and it's
that's
just a
beautiful.
Very simple design.
Yeah.
But that I leave on my hall table. And anytime I think company's coming, I just run out to the garden, pick 3 things. I leave the sticks in.
Only 3 things.
Yeah, and I leave the curly or the corkscrew hazel in there, so I'm ready to go, and it's done in no time.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing
pleasure.
this design with you. It's absolutely beautiful. We'll have more of this coming up on the 5 o'clock show, including we're actually going to pot some flowers in some antique pots. So that's going to be really neat. We'll find out what we can have there.
It's called acacia, and it's also called elephant ear. It's just a very large tropical plant. You can bring it inside if you want in the winter, cut it right back, and just keep the bulb and use it again next year.
Wow.
But yeah, you really can make a beautiful tropical garden. Look great next to a pool.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks amazing back here. It looks like we have our own tropical space.
Yes, and our beautiful little hibiscus, which will be available at the antique show for sale. Beautiful, beautiful plant.
You're watching Newswatch, the 5 o'clock show.
Welcome back to the 5 o'clock show. We're going to be getting our hands dirty because we're potting.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm back with Brenda Ivy, and she's actually going to show us some of the antiques that could possibly be at the show, because a big part of the Lakefield Antique Flower Show is the antique part, right?
Right, yeah, we have lots of different vendors, people with books, people with furniture, jewelry, lots of beautiful jewelry, so there's a really nice variety of vendors.
Wow. And exactly what are we doing right here?
Well, it's just kind of if you want to use something different when you're potting up some of your perennials or your annuals, just to make a nice little display quickly, you can use just about anything. We've got this really cute little wagon, and we've got something flowing over the edge here, a little creeping Charlie, and we have lots of different things we can add to it. And you pick some complementary colors. You could do just about anything because these are all
those look
great.
good together,
yeah,
right?
nice,
Especially with the wood. So you would just pick some colors.
Just pick some colors, and
it.
you might want to have a little lining or something in here, but we're just doing it here today to kind of give an idea. And like this coleus, it's kind of a neat color. It's got both the purple and the green in it, so you could put that into.
So put that in?
Yeah,
Should we
sure.
add that in
you go ahead. Just give the pot a little squeeze and put her down in there. And
so you would have this at the flower show. So the displays that you're doing here, do you sell those?
Yeah, we're going to have some plants for sale, perennials or actually, perennials. We mostly plant perennials, and they're donated to us, or at least given to us by some of the different businesses in town.
Oh, that's nice.
And then we sell them for them, and it makes a beautiful display in the entryway.
Yeah.
The actual arrangements that we have at the show, there's not so many of them in antique containers, but we do have one competition where it's anything goes.
Anything goes.
Yeah, and so we invite the vendors, the antique vendors, to make a beautiful display of anything goes. So it can be anything they want of flowers in an antique container.
Okay, so would this wagon qualify as an antique container?
I think it would qualify as an antique container, sure. Yeah.
Is there something that I guess defines what an antique container is, or you can kind of just guess and bring whatever you have?
No, we're not too fussy on
that. No? Okay. So excellent. So what is the, I guess, biggest antique that you've seen at the show with a flower in it?
Well, some beautiful vases. Quite often you'll see the guys, or the vendors bring in a beautiful big vase and just fill it full of wonderful flowers, and it's gorgeous, yeah. Usually a vase with cut flowers. Not so many people do the actual planting, but we just thought it would be fun here today to show some different containers for planting.
Yeah, so what are the different containers here? I know over here you have a scale, actually.
Yeah,
this
is
an
kind of
antique
neat.
Scale.
One of our members brought it in. It's an old antique scale, and you could easily put a little pot of something in it, whether you actually take it out of the pot or just kind of set it in there. Maybe you're having a little party or something and you want to just make an interesting little display.
Yeah, it just looks pretty. Yeah. I like that.
And we have some moss over there. We could easily fill a little bit of moss around.
Okay, so this is the moss right here.
Sure, yeah. You could just pull it apart a little bit just to cover up the pot.
Oh, yeah, and then you wouldn't actually have to take it out of out of its own little self-contained pot.
If it's just a little temporary little decoration that you want to make for a special event, that would be kind of fun.
That's interesting. I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing with all these. You just pick up a couple things, put it in, and all of a sudden it looks beautiful.
Experiment,
so,
eh?
Yeah,
that makes
that's
it
great.
fun. You can use anything, lots of different containers. Even you can just use antiques as part of your display if you have some plants.
These shoes, they kind of look like they're my size.
We'll have to teach you some Dutch if you wear those.
So you would even put the flowers in there, though,
You could put them in, or you could just lean those up against some containers that you might have on your front step. That's what I do. I have a nice big planter and a few little things, and then just say the decoration of the little Dutch shoes.
Oh, wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. Again, if people want to know more about the flower and antique show that's going on tomorrow, how can they find that out?
LakefieldHort.org. We have all the information on our website and phone numbers as well, so you can always call if you need more information. But it's a great event, great fundraiser for us, and we have a lot of fun.
And it's running for the next 2 days?
Yes, Wednesday 10 till 8, and Thursday 10 till 6.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing all the beautiful flowers and all the antiques. It's exciting. It's very exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And up next, we have Newswatch, first at 5:30.